Hello, this is lesson 5-7. I'm going to divide this into 2 days, mostly because the back side of this, which would be page 240, is pretty difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. What we're doing here is doing story problems that can be either put together, which is kind of your part total, or story problems that can be compare. And then for this, either both pieces of information are going to come from the graph, and sometimes just one. So for example, I could do a compare problem, and a simple one would be, well, there are how many more bears than tigers? And I would say 4, take away 2 is 2, there's 4 more bears. Where it can get a little bit more complicated is I could there's one down here, and I'll go through this one with you, but you could take an animal that's not here, let's say penguins, and you could say, well, there's 6 more penguins than there are lions. And if you were to look at the graph, it might not seem like you can answer that, but if you have the number of lions, which would be 5, and you have the difference, which would be 6, you would put the 5 and the 6 together to get the amount of penguins there. So I'm just going to read these problems, and for 1 and 2, I'm going to kind of tell you what type of problem they are and then let you try to solve those on your own. 4 of the monkeys are adults and the rest are babies. How many of the monkeys are babies? So we have the total of monkeys up here somewhere. Find that total first, and then it's telling you that 4 are adults. Okay, so for these you might want to pause the video and solve as I talk about them, but again, you can also just listen to me and then go back and solve as well. How many fewer bears are there than monkeys? So that's very similar to the one I talked about, where you're just plugging in monkeys and bears. It tells you that there's fewer bears. So again, when you're doing a compare bar, really the first thing you're doing is figuring out the greater amount and the lesser amount. So if it says there's fewer bears, okay, well, bears would be here, and what am I comparing? Bears and monkeys, and you would fill in your bars and solve for the difference. And again, if we go back, looking at just these as tools, if this is missing, you would subtract. If this is missing, you would subtract. If this is missing, you would add. In a compare bar, if this is missing, you would add. If this is missing, you'd subtract. If this is missing, you would subtract. For number 3, on this side is the one I'm going to do right now with you. So there are 2 fewer lions than elephants. How many elephants are there? Well, I go up here and I don't see elephants at all. But I have the information, 2 pieces of information. It tells me that there are 2 fewer lions, so it gives me the difference here. And it says there's fewer lions, so I could put the L as the lesser amount. If the L is the lesser amount, then the E for elephants would be the greater amount. Come back over here. Well, it says there are 2 fewer lions, and here's where I need to go to the graph. Well, how many lions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I would put those 2 together. 5 and 2 would be 7, so there's a total of 7 elephants. Now, I'm going to go to this other side here, and this other side is a little bit more difficult, so you might want to pause the video now, put the diagrams and tools in at least per problem, so that you have some of that information in there, and then when I'm explaining them, then it might be able to a little easier, so you're not trying to write as fast as I'm talking. But Anyway, I'm pretty much going to read these, and these are pretty much all two-step problems, so I'll probably kind of that first step, leave the second step to you. So Jenny has 4 fewer purple beads than Morgan. How many purple beads do Jenny and Morgan have in all? So up here, it helps to say what the graph is about. The title is Jenny's Bead Collection. And blues, reds, greens, purples. Okay, so this is about purple beads. The piece of information it gives me is Jenny has fewer purple beads than Morgan. So Jenny would be fewer. Well, how many fewer? 4. If Jenny is fewer, then Morgan would be more. Okay, so in order to first solve for Morgan, I would plug in Jenny's amount, which is 6. Now I can solve for Morgan by putting these two together. 6 and 4 would be 10. And again, I'm going to stop here and kind of let you solve this one on your own from here. With what we're looking for is the total for both of these girls together, Jenny and Morgan. Number 5. Morgan has 11 red beads, then she gives 2 red beads to Arun. How many more red beads does Morgan have than Jenny? So again, we have Morgan, and she gives 2 red beads to Arun, so we get her new total now is going to be 9. It says that she still has more than Jenny, so I know she has more than Jenny for that second part of the problem. She has more than Jenny, which is 9. Jenny is going to end up having, I have to go back over here, looking at red, Jenny has 2. And I'll let you solve the rest of that problem. And then for number 6, 5 of Jenny's beads are large and the rest are small. She buys some small yellow beads. Now she has 18 small beads. How many small yellow beads does she buy? And again, for number 6 in particular, it's very hard for a second grader to do on their own. So just I understand that. But I still want to give them a chance to do kind of some of it on her own. So starting here, the difficult thing is you have to figure out first the total number of beads. So it says up here that 5 are large and the rest are small. So you have to go up, find out the total, which is going to be 7 plus 2, which is 9, plus 5 is 14, plus 6 would be 20. And then once you know that total, now you know that 15 are going to be small. And it gives you the next piece of information that you're now going to have a total of 18 small beads. Total of 18. So that 15 comes over here. Now if the total is now 18 and you had 15, how many did you get? And I'll let you solve that on your own. And then I'll show you these answers in a few minutes here. Okay, so here are the answers. I'm not gonna go into numbers 1 and 2 too much, but 4 of the monkeys are adults and the rest are babies. How many monkeys? So you go up here to get that there was 6 monkeys. Take away the 2 to get 4. Number 2, there was 6 monkeys. There was 4 bears. 2 is the difference, so there's 2 fewer bears. This is the one we already did. On the back side, if you did the compare bars correctly with me, you're going to know that the Morgan has 10, and then Jenny had 6. Put those together to get 16. Number 5, Morgan has 11 red beads. So I'm not going to read that again. But down here, you would take this piece of information that after she gave 2 away, she had 9. She still had more than Jenny because Jenny only had 2. So the difference between 9 and 2 you would solve by subtracting. 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. So it would be 7 more red beads. 5 of Jenny beads are large and the rest are small. She buys some yellow beads. Now she has 18 small beads. How many small yellow beads does she buy? Again, 20 total beads. 5 are large, the rest are small. That gives me 15 that are small. I have a new total of 18. I had 15 that were small. If my new total is 18, how many more did I get? 15 plus what is 18? 16, 17, 18, that'd be 3. So I'll leave that up for just a second so you can pause and check those if you haven't had a chance to. And that'll be it for today for math.